Hey everyone, this is Ian Carlin. Welcome to A Mind for Fitness. I'm so glad you could join me for this podcast. Remember what we're trying to do here. We are trying to get you to your weight loss goals, to get you to a healthy weight. And what we do here is we provide the information and the encouragement because we know that part of this journey is mental as well as physical. Yes, you've got to have the physical stuff as well, but a big part of the journey is how you are thinking about it, what it is you are using to motivate yourself. And I know that part of what motivated me to lose around 100 pounds was listening to podcasts and just continually feeding my mind with good information. And so that's what this podcast started, and I just wanted to give back with that. And we have an amazing guest with us today. I'm going to introduce him in just a minute, but before I do, as devotees of the program, you know that about 3 years ago, I started working on a book, and I shelved it and came out with another book, and then I went back to it, and it took me so long, but it is finally out, and it is this book right here. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. If you're not on YouTube, it's called Diet Sins: Why Your Diet is Failing and What You Can Do to Fix It. And it is on Amazon. And guess what, folks? It's free if you're an Amazon Prime user. Absolutely free. That's why it's this piece of paper, because that's just the cover. So it's just an ebook. So it's on Amazon Prime, free, and it's only $2.99 if you are not an Amazon Prime member. So if you want to find out what's going wrong with your diet, and believe me, as somebody who has failed for years on diets and then finally found success, I know, and then helped other people find success as well, I know exactly why your diet is failing and exactly what you need to do to fix it. So thank you. Please go over to Amazon and pick the book up. And with that, we're going to get to the show. Now, we have with us, by way of audio only today, unfortunately, we try to get the video working, but we only have the audio, and that is Jason Wittrock. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me. Sorry about sorry I can see you, but you can't see me. Just
That's quite all right.
the tech problems, man.
Oh, that's the way it goes sometimes. But as I said in the pre-interview, where we were talking before off the camera, that, big portion of my audience is audio only and only a small portion is video. So the audio will go out just fine. Now, I have you on because, I've been watching your videos for some time now. I was just like, it came up on my YouTube feed as a recommendation. I'm like, oh man, I love keto. I love intermittent fasting. I love it all. So I started watching this stuff. And you kind of had a unique message, and it was something that I kind of fell into kind of naturally. But like it was like, wow, this guy's really speaking my language here.
Awesome.
And it was about keto cycling, and so I want to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
But I want to talk about your journey though, first of all. So tell us, like from the beginning, like how you got into the health and fitness world and what turns you on to keto. And is there a backstory? Were you a traditional dieter in the beginning? Were you, 6 meals a day and then you found keto? Tell me about this.
Well, I've been dieting since about 12 years old. So I grew up a wrestler, an avid, pretty successful wrestler. And so I kind of battled the scale almost my entire young adult life. And so that's where everything kind of started in terms of health and fitness for me. Got into training when I was about 26 or 27, and took on a lot of clients, was semi-successful. I was essentially following the calories in, calories out approach. And found that it was very unsustainable. Things weren't working. So I went to the drawing board, tried to figure out, because that's all I knew was calories in, calories out as a wrestler. It was as easy as you need to work out more and you need to stop eating so much food, because that's what I did to lose the weight. So that's what you need to do as well. And it's just that simple. It's all behavioral. So I started getting frustrated when people just couldn't stick with it. They just kept falling off the wagon, all this stuff. And, came across a guy named Gary Taubes, as a matter of fact. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I started looking into a lot of his research, and long story short about that was I found out that weight gain, fat accumulation is regulated by hormones. Doesn't matter about you. You could have all the willpower in the world, but that's not what's controlling fat accumulation. In fact, it is hormones, mainly insulin. So that was like I felt like the big discovery. And so I used that for a long time for my own personal career. I'm in the fitness industry, meaning I have sponsors. I used to do competitions up to until recently. So I kind of was under pressure to be in the best shape of my life 365 days a year. So I did low carb because that's what everybody does in the fitness industry to get shredded. The problem with that is it's not sustainable because you're not able to have any energy. And
right.
And every time I did low carb, it was just bump the protein up to 300 grams of protein, so you don't lose muscle, but you still always lost muscle. Long story short, I had an opportunity to work with children with mental illness, came across the ketogenic diet, thought it was crazy, couldn't believe that they were actually doing this in a medical setting. It worked on these children. All these kids, these were bipolar, schizophrenic, cutters, people try to kill themselves 3 days before. I was simply their trainer in the gym. But they all took a medication that made them gain tremendous amounts of weight. And ultimately they would die by the age of 40, 45 because the implications of the medication. So anyways, and metabolic syndrome, if you've heard of that, or syndrome X.
Yeah.
And so the ketogenic diet was very effective in helping reverse that trend. And I was a believer, and I jumped right on it. And it went against everything that I was hearing and learning in the fitness industry. Eat every 2 or 3 hours. Don't increase your fat intake. It's going to kill you and you're going to get fat. So I just took a leap of faith because I witnessed it firsthand, change lives. And I did it. And all of a sudden, I was able to cut carbs and have more energy than I've ever had before. I couldn't believe it. And I just climbed to the top of a mountain and started screaming it as loud as I possibly could. And that's
right.
To this day, I've helped thousands and thousands of people believe in the diet, be successful with the diet, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, your journey sounds, similar to a lot of people that I listen to and talk to. You go from this calories in, calories out, in which you you see like a little bit of success, but it's just so unsustainable.
Yeah, I could starve you to death easily. I used to do it. It works. People always argue with me about it. Oh, well, I eat less and I always lose weight. Yeah, you're going to lose weight. I mean, it does work. Starving yourself certainly works. It just doesn't work for long. and that's all there is to it. Nobody believed in calories in, calories out more than I did. Nobody. And everybody kind of like, now I tell everybody it's bullshit. And they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I just want them to realize that I came from a place of, at one point I would have told myself I was crazy. But it's the truth. And I'll tell you the honest truth, how much easier would it have been for me to just go through my fitness career telling everybody that all you need is willpower. You got to be as strong as me. You just got to eat less and work out more, buy my workout program and eat less food. And how easy is that for me to just go and there's a lot of people in my industry who do that. Unfortunately, I took the hard road, which is kind of teaching people about insulin resistance, how blood sugar affects insulin secretion, all of these complicated things that you have to make somebody understand for them to really get why they gain weight. It's not an easy road. It has not been an easy road. There are often times where I wish I could just say eat less and work out more. But it's just not the truth. So
right. And then I hear this, you transition over, it's like a stepping process. You transitioned over into low carb, right?
Correct.
And that's like a bigger piece of the puzzle, but it's still not the complete puzzle.
Exactly. It's a step in the right direction. I thought it was the end. Like I literally thought when I found low carb and realized that carbs are responsible for blood sugar and insulin, that whole cascade of events, I literally thought I stumbled on the Holy Grail. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And at one point I was screaming that from the top of the mountain. And then so I put a lot of people on low carb diets. I followed one myself and I was still losing people. They were getting results, but it wasn't sustainable. And the reason was they didn't have any energy. And And that's what competitors in my industry do too. They cut their carbs to get ready for a show. The minute they step off stage, they are rebounding, throwing carbs back into the system because they can't stay there that long. It's
Right.
And so anyways, and then when I found keto, it was just like, wow, I really hit gold now.
Right.
And
Right.
I know there's nothing else. Like, I'm done searching. That's been the beauty of the ketogenic diet, is the search is over. Uh, Thank God I finally found, this diet, and I'm sticking to it for
Interesting.
life. Sticking to it for life, buddy.
Well, awesome. Interesting. It's always good when you can find something that's sustainable
Exactly.
for your life. And I kind of had a similar experience where I got on a low carb diet, and I lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
But I hit what I call the Atkins wall, where
Uh-huh.
you lose like 40, 50 pounds, but then boom, it stops.
Yeah.
Like, it stops. Now, I know you probably, I know you talked about losing some weight, when you were younger and stuff, and being a slave to the scale. But you, as I recall watching your videos, you were never somebody who was severely overweight that needed to lose weight, right? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
no, that's correct. I've been very insulin sensitive, meaning I can eat all the carbs I want and I'm not getting fat.
Hmm. Right, right.
I still do this diet despite that fact. But yeah, I've never had to battle with weight, but I still understand. In my wrestling career, I used to, on a Monday, weigh, for example, 120 pounds.
Uh-huh.
By Friday, I had to weigh 110 pounds,
Ooh,
or else my life was over at that point. And I did
yeah.
that, every single week. And I did that with no body fat percentage, no real weight to lose. So I still understand what it's like to struggle with weight. It's
Yeah,
just,
and you work with people too that
yeah,
you've put on
and I work with
clients.
people. I empathize with
Right.
people, and that's why I'm kind of a huge proponent of stay the hell off the scale, uh,
Okay.
uh, because of my experience with it, and how it just simply lies to you and is not your friend.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, the scale's not been my friend. I try to step on it as little as possible, but I do step on it now and again just to see where things are at.
Sure.
It's not the end all, it's not the end all. It's a measurement. It's part of the equation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah. It's
a
just
lower part of the equation.
exactly
But
when you step on the scale, it's not going to tell you your blood pressure went down, blood sugar is normalized, stabilized. It's not going to tell you you're preventing cancer and diabetes and all that stuff. It's just going to give you a number, and that's it.
right, right. So you went over to this, and then now did you find, because now you're talking about, in your videos that I've watched, you talked about keto cycling, and
Correct.
that's kind of what I do, is as I kind of keto cycle,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where I'll go in and out of ketosis with
Yep.
strategic meals here and there,
Yeah.
and I'll share with you kind of what I'm doing right now,
Okay.
uh, and I'll have you maybe give some advice, and
Sure.
if it affects me, it's going to affect my listeners, you know what I mean, because like
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just the one representative. Now, I've gone through the gambit of different things to lose weight, you know what I mean, like
Yep.
like I said, when I first started, I was just basically low carb, and like I just basically just I didn't care about how much I ate. I just ate till I was full, and I really just cut out like the major carbs. Like, I cut out bread and pasta and stuff like that. But like, if I wanted a big, huge steak, I would have it. If I wanted a salad, I would have it. And I still had a lot of like quote unquote junk food that wasn't good, but it was a step in the right direction. Lost a lot of weight, hit a wall, kept pushing through, lost some more weight, and then I started gaining weight back. And so then I started intermittent fasting. And then intermittent fasting combined with keto, combined with strategic cheat days, and I'll ask how you feel about them in a minute here. But that kind of seemed to like it dropped my weight like significantly, and I'm still stuck at a certain weight. But how do you feel about? So explain a little bit about what keto cycling is. I've heard carb cycling, and I've done carb cycling. So what do you mean by keto cycling?
Well, there's three different types of ketogenic diets. There's a regular strict ketogenic diet where
Okay.
they use for mostly medical purposes. And that's basically keto the rest of your life. No negotiation, no nothing. It's necessary to treat certain medical conditions. Then there's something called a CKG, a cyclical ketogenic diet, whereby you take strategic refeed, carb day, cheat meals type of thing periodically along your journey. And then there is something called a targeted ketogenic diet, whereby this is mostly utilized by athletes, whereby you take in a certain amount of carbohydrates before a workout or a sports event or anything like that. So when I first started keto, I'm a realist, okay? And I realized that I need to be able to do this long term. And I quickly said, I love keto as much as I love keto. I'm not going to, never have birthday cake again. I'm never going to not have pizza again. I have a active, busy, very social lifestyle. So I'm going to follow the cyclical ketogenic diet approach. And so it's just basically allowed me to make this a lifestyle much easier. When I first started and I came out with a program, a cyclical ketogenic diet program called Keto Cycle, 10,000 people or something have purchased it, and a lot of people have changed their life with it, and it's super amazing. My philosophy, how I feel about it has definitely changed. It's been 2 years since that program came out, and things have definitely changed. There were some things about that program that I did not foresee. For example, so I'd scale back the carbs on your cheat meal depending on what your goal is. And a refeed day might have been one every 3 weeks. For a guy like you, it would have been probably once every 3 weeks. Okay. For somebody that only wanted to lose 20 pounds or something like that, it would have been once every 2 weeks. If you were trying to really build muscle, you didn't have much weight to lose, you would do once every week. And I would give you full days, and they would scale down depending on which cycle you were on. What I didn't anticipate was the mental aspect of the cheat meal and how it really, most people could not handle it whatsoever. For me, it was a lifesaver. For a lot of other people, it was, they came across their cheat day, carb day, whatever you want to call it, and they did not come back the next day. And so I really began to believe more in just having strategic cheat meals. So just one occasion, you just have one meal. It's not an all day. Being addicted to carbs is like being addicted to drugs. Okay. Essentially, we're all drug addicts. So if I say to you, hey, here's a huge bag of drugs, you have a whole day to take as much drugs as you possibly can, the outcome is not going to be that great. But if I just say, hey, here's a little bit of drugs, you can have it, but then we're right back on the train, the likelihood of you coming back is much better. Sounds like a crazy way to put it, but it was shocking to see, how many people were like emailing me saying, hey, do I even have to take this cheat day, because this carb day, because it's terrible. And so my philosophy now is, it's not necessarily a cyclical ketogenic diet approach. It is, and this is what I personally do now, I go as long as I possibly can keto. When the situation comes up where I feel like I have a cheat meal or need a cheat meal, or I want to just, I do it. I don't think anything about it. I don't schedule it. I just take it and forget that it ever happened.
So it's more like an intuitive thing for you at this point.
100%.
So how do you determine when you feel like you need a cheat, when you need to, stock up on your glycogen or whatever? What are the key signs for you?
I know my body. I can just say, if you get that urge, that thought in your head. I mean, now granted, I do recommend you got to go at least, 2 weeks at least is probably ideal. So, if I get, one of the good things about when you get yourself into ketosis, those cravings do go away. So it's not like you're going to get that impulse every other day. You still have to go through what's called an adaptation phase, which is about 3 weeks, I'd say, before, you get over those cravings. But I just listen to my body. And a lot of times, it's hard to tell.
Do you feel, do you feel low on energy, or is it just
no, certainly not.
Comes no. And you like, okay, I've got to have something?
It's usually just a social thing for me at this point. Like, for example, 2 nights ago, a big time executive friend had a dinner party, and there was going to be a lot of very important people there. It was not, he warned me saying, hey, listen, no keto, no bueno on this one, because the meal we're making is not going to be keto friendly. You're going to have a hard time. So I just accepted it and rolled with it, had my cheat meal, and that was that, and previously I'd been keto for 55 days. But
Okay.
I don't. It's just when it comes, it comes. Life happens. Everybody has different circumstances. Your son might have a birthday party coming up in 3 weeks. Take your cheat meal. It's all good. Have some cake.
Yeah.
Have some cake. Maybe after that, you'll go 3 months before another cheat meal. Who knows? It's, I don't stress about it. I don't think about it. So
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I know for me, like, and I know we're just meeting for the first time here, but like I work out like crazy. Like I work out a lot. Like I'm way into martial arts.
cool.
So I do like a lot of glycolytic sports, where it like it con like almost well how wrestling is.
Mhm.
Wrestling is
High
jujitsu is
intensity.
the high intensity for those 4 or 5 minutes that you're doing it.
Yep.
And then in addition to that, I make sure I get my 10,000 steps in a day.
Good.
Normally, I'm way beyond that. As a matter of fact, and I know that calories in, calories out thing doesn't matter. You and I kind of have both
You just read my mind.
abandoned that. But quite honestly, like my calorie counter that I wear, and I know it's just an estimate, says that I burn between like around 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day.
Hmm.
That's how much I work out. I get up in the morning, like just this morning, I got to the gym, I ran a couple miles, I went to yoga. Then when I come home, I'm on my feet, I'm doing my, washing clothes, washing dishes, taking care of the house. It's not like I'm sitting. I mean, this is actually the first time today that I've sat since I got out of bed.
Hey,
Um,
I'm in the fitness industry. You work out more than I do.
Yeah, I work out a lot, and there have been times where like I felt like low on energy, and I'm like,
Yeah, I
okay,
can imagine.
I need something there. So, and it's not every day's the same. Okay, so so like weekends are real
Yeah,
leisurely.
yeah, yeah. But you're very active, and that's very good. I always tell people that you can get results on this diet. Sounds crazy from a guy like me without the workouts. When you work out, it's just a bonus, and it sounds like you are, cashing that register, and you are 100% committed. I'd caution
Right.
you. I'd caution you and say that your body does still need rest, and you need to listen to that.
Okay.
It's very hard. Trust me, coming from a guy like me, to tell yourself, let's take a day off to rest. But you will find that the progress will get better if you do allow yourself rest days. Also, make sure you keep those electrolytes high. If you're working out and training as much as you are,
Yeah.
that sodium level drops, so do you.
Good, good. So I'm going to run this is kind of is a diet that I'm implementing here.
Okay.
And I'm going to see what you think about it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I'm going to see what you think about it. Now, I have my own diet program that I put my clients on and stuff like that. Then it's not always necessarily mine because
Is this
mine,
what you're about to tell me?
yeah, I'm going to tell you my personal kind of diet that I'm following kind of right
And
now.
is this the diet that you're putting other people on, or just the one that you're putting yourself
No,
on?
no, just the one I'm putting myself on right
Okay.
now.
All right.
So it's not what I do with my clients. Although as soon as I say this, I know that there are going to be certain people out there who are going to imitate it, which is, again, imitate at your own risk, as I always say.
Everybody's different.
This podcast does not constitute a client relationship, and whatever else you have to say. I'm not a doctor, all that stuff.
Tell me
You know
about
what I
what
mean?
you're doing. Let's do this.
Okay, all right. I do keto Monday, keto. So let's start. Yeah, let's start with Sunday. So Sunday keto. Okay, so I'm keto all day. I probably don't eat until around like 1, somewhere around there.
Yeah, me too.
Um, then Monday
Are you having
keto is
keto coffee in the morning, or are you just not eating until?
sometimes no,
Okay.
I have coffee, but I did keto coffee for a while, the whole bulletproof thing, and I love it. I got it's just I'm too busy. Like I just don't have time to do it. I'm just like, get the coffee in my cup, let's get out of here.
Gotcha.
So it's like it's not like a thing I'm a for or against or anything like that. It's just that I'm doing that. So Tuesday I'm keto, Monday I'm keto. Okay, so Wednesday or Tuesday I do a 24-hour fast. So like from Monday night to Tuesday night. So a 24 hours, like I'll get done eating at 7, then I'll go to 7 o'clock the next day. So Wednesday and Thursday, I kind of have like a little bit higher carbs, but I do like all natural sources. So it's not like I'm having like birthday cake or something like that. It's like if I feel like I need like a little extra something for my workout, I'll have like an orange or a banana or some, bulletproof rice or something like that. So just good clean carbs.
Yep.
And
Slow digesting.
then I fast again. So basically, 2 days keto, 2 days fasting, 2 days kind of paleo, a little higher carb, and then I give myself Saturday kind of not the whole day. It ends up being a couple of meals of whatever I want. So it's normally like a cheat day and it's really kind of like sacred for me because that's like the time me and my wife, we go out for breakfast on that day. We'll brunch, like around 11 or something like that. And I just feel free to get, whatever I want. I love food, man. So, but I don't have a problem going back on it though. I do not have a problem going back on it the next day. It's normally by about Wednesday that I start having cravings, but I try to satisfy them with more like nutritious carbohydrates. So basically, Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday, Monday, keto. Tuesday, fast. Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit higher carb, but not terrible, like a regular low carb diet. Friday, fast. Saturday, what I want.
Sounds like it sounds like the ultimate hybrid diet.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Is it working?
Yeah. This is the issue, and that is like not a lot. Like last summer, I'll open up with you here, okay, brother? Last summer, I dialed it down. Like I dialed it down, man. I did really good, and I lost 3 whole pounds, and I was pretty pissed off. I mean, I was strict, and I was strict with my dieting.
Did you build muscle though? I mean, did you gain 3 pounds of muscle?
I lost 3 pounds of pure fat.
Okay.
So that's that. They got me on the scale where you have to hold the thing and then you take your shoes off and they shoot the electrodes in you and all that stuff. But it was a little disappointing for me to do this and only lose three pounds. But yeah, my ratios went down. So yeah, I mean, I did build muscle and I did like 50 push-ups a day. I was just trying
so your body recomposite. You could have recomposed your body, but just like I said, the scale, you might have lost 3 pounds or you might have only lost 3 pounds, but you might have gained muscle, which would have balanced that scale out. I'm sure you looked much, much, much better than when you first started. So is it working? Is what that's what you did before, is what you're currently doing working for you? Is this something you're going to do the rest of your life?
I don't know if I'll do it the rest of my life because I haven't really done anything for the rest of my life because everything it changes.
I encourage you to find something that you can do. The thing that concerns me about what you just described to me is that's a lot of damn rules, and I hate rules.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
It seems like a lot of, you're gonna have to micromanage a lot of different things. It seems like, I mean, even just you describing it, you had to go through 3 times and describe it to me because you wanted to make sure that I was on the right path. That seems like a very resistant path, in my opinion. But if it works for you, then continue doing it. I find beauty in the ketogenic diet because you can keep it very, very, very simple. And as long as you focus on nailing the fundamentals,
right,
you can do that. That's why I've been able to make this a lifestyle, is because I'm able to take myself out of a lot of the boxes that people can put you in. But that approach would absolutely be the opposite of my approach. But if that approach works for you, and you can sustain it for a lifetime, then I encourage you to keep doing it. But I do wonder about how much stress that causes internally, mentally, how much friction in your brain goes on when you're following something that rigid.
Right.
And I would wonder if, let's like use the force, Luke. I would wonder if a guy like you, who probably tends to always overthink and overanalyze and really dig deep into things, how you would do taking a hands-off and completely instinctive, trust your instincts on every single level approach, and see if that would help you get out of this plateau that you said you were on before we started.
You know what, Jason, I have you on for a reason, because I think you're speaking truth, brother. I
Yeah.
really do. So you know what? I might even abandon that and then
Give it a
just
shot.
give what you're doing a shot.
You know the fundamentals. It's not ever and in this day and age and YouTube and all these, everybody's jumping in on keto. Everybody's got a thing to say. Everybody wants to tell you their approach, this, that, the other. The truth and this and the fundamentals are you must prevent your body from secreting insulin. That's how you lose the weight. There are two things that spike insulin: protein and carbs. So the ketogenic diet, for me, the fundamentals, the foundation is not counting calories. It is focusing on the ratio. Okay. So I always tell people 70% fat or more.
Mm-hmm.
Fat doesn't spike insulin, and it's what your body's going to use for energy. So 70% fat or more, 20% protein or less, underlined or less, because protein spikes insulin.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you keep that down, you're suppressing the insulin. Same thing with the carbohydrates. I always tell people 50 grams total carbs or less. We've gotten ourselves into a shit show because the guy who came out with the whole net carbs thing did not anticipate huge companies coming out trying to sell you a cookie that's got 40 grams of carbs but 30 grams of fiber. Therefore, it's only 10. So 50 grams of carbs.
Right.
50 grams total carbs or less. It always comes out to about 5%. And if you, being an excellent practitioner of this, somebody who has a lot of experience, you should instinctively be able to hit that ratio without looking, without even looking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like learning how to dance. It's everybody who starts this diet, you got to learn how to dance. You got to count steps off in your head, meaning you got to track until you can. A professional dancer now, they don't count steps in their head. They're done tracking. So I feel like a guy like you should be able to very easily nail that fundamental. And like I said, if you hit a plateau, drop the protein more.
Okay.
Because or double check your carbs. Because it always goes back to the insulin.
Right. Well, my go-to, quite honestly, is just not eating.
Yeah, which is a surefire.
I'm really good at not eating.
Yeah, so am I, bro. That is a surefire way of preventing your body from secreting insulin.
Yeah. So you're all on board.
It still goes back to the insulin. Starve yourself. That's the best way you can stop your body from producing insulin. Unfortunately, and I get a lot of people who ask me about the intermittent fasting thing. I do not intermittent fast. I used to intermittent fast in high school in wrestling. Yes, it works. But again, I'm still controlling insulin through the ketogenic diet. And I've never really met a person who has done intermittent fasting for a prolonged period of time. I've actually spoken to, in my opinion, one of the grandfathers of intermittent fasting, Jimmy Moore. This guy went on like a 20-day intermittent fast. Like the dude had nothing but water and chicken broth for 20 straight days.
Right.
It gets taken to the extreme, and it's just not sustainable. I don't know if he still currently does, but
no, unfortunately, there's a big dust up. I mean, bring him up. He's a friend of mine on Facebook and stuff, and I love the guy. He's been a pioneer in this whole thing for sure. And his information is solid, but man, the guy is gaining weight again like crazy, and it's just so a lot of people are like pointing the finger at him and stuff like that.
Yeah, that sucks. Honestly, that sucks because you don't know. There might be other hormonal things that are going on with him. I don't know if he is. I don't really know what his situation is, but you cannot discredit the things that he says. He's been there before. He's walked the walk. He might be going through a phase in life. Who knows? We all go through. That's why when people are like, "Oh, I hit a plateau," fuck your plateau. Excuse my language on this podcast. But your plateau is your plateau is, it means nothing. You're all good. Just hold strong. Like life goes through ebbs and flows, ups and downs. It's all good. You're gaining a little bit. Maybe he's not so strict as he used to be before. And maybe something's going on with his family and it's causing stress and cortisol's through the roof. And the guy looks at carbs and he's gaining weight.
Yeah. Well, I have that problem. I really do. I mean, I'm very, I'm an endomorph body type. Basically, I'm very round when I'm out of shape. I'm very square when I'm in shape. I don't get that, the V is very slight. I just have that kind of, I put on muscle really well, but there's just the taking of the fat off. And I hear you when it comes to the plateau. I went on this journey. I'll tell you the story real quick. I went on this journey with a friend of mine who had like more weight to lose. He was pretty severely overweight. I was severely overweight, but even at 100 pounds heavier than I am now, I could still go do stuff. I didn't have a problem getting in and out of my car or all that stuff. This guy was huge. And we hit a plateau at the exact same time, and he quit. He
Yeah.
got upset and he quit, and I didn't. And
Good. And that's what it
honestly,
is. Victory,
yeah,
victory. Listen to this. Victory belongs to those who persevere, my friend.
yeah,
That's
for
all there
sure,
is
for
to
sure.
it. And Jimmy Moore, trust me, will persevere. Maybe he's going through some problem. Maybe he's going through some stuff right now. He will persevere. I'm not sure what his situation is. I haven't heard or seen that he's gained weight. I just find it tragic that somebody is going to not listen to somebody's advice because they look a certain way. Or I just think you're missing out, man, because that guy has a lot of good stuff to teach. He's been there before, but
Yeah, for sure.
nonetheless, my point going back to it is you must find what is sustainable for you to do over a lifetime.
So do you though not see like shaking your metabolism up, like when you're working with clients,
Yeah.
that do they hit a wall and do you shake things up a bit, or do you
Yeah, you
just say,
can. Yeah, I usually judge how they are. I don't know what's going on physiologically. Okay, I don't have my clients hooked up to damn machines and figuring out all this stuff. I gauge them. I'm a reader of men. Okay, I read people.
yeah,
I can tell what's going on without them even telling me. And so I will give them a little psychological shakeup. I don't know what happens physiologically for certain. It's anybody's guess, but I do know when I shake them up psychologically, it tends to kind of refocus them, recommit them. It changes their state, I guess, and that's all it really takes. You know, I don't concern myself with any of the you need this many grams and this much glycogen replenishment and all this other stuff. It's all, like you said in the beginning, man, it's all mental. Okay.
yeah,
Like,
right.
but once you understand why you gain weight, after that, it's just becomes mental. And it's a chess game with yourself. And at the end, you know, it's how long are you going to be able to last? Sadly, people don't last long because they put themselves under too many rules. They tend to overthink things and they don't have any patience whatsoever. And, you know, so.
Well, that's the difficult thing too, you know, and it takes a community. One of the reasons why, you know, and I've shared this on the program before, and I'll share this with you now, is it took me about like a year to kind of get down to a healthy weight.
Yeah.
And then I gained weight again, but I lost it again. I lost it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Part of it was just, you know, too lax. You know, it was just too.
But that was probably necessary in that moment. And if you would have gone against that, you might have been in even more trouble. It's all good. True. It's all good, man. You're not on a 30-day diet program. You're on an all life, entire, you know, and
oh man.
You know, just think about it in terms of the long game. People use time against themselves. You got to learn how to use time in your favor. You know, don't be your own worst enemy type of thing, and just understand. Right. But it's hard to do that when you look around on social media and all you see is perfection, right? And everybody makes it sound like it's so damn easy. And they all have the secret. You know, it's easy to fall into traps. But
yeah, and what you're saying too is it's got to be a lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Most definitely, 100%.
You have to be able to choose a diet. This is part of what's in my book, and I've been over this on the podcast. But you know, like, is Diet Sins is the name of the book. You know, and I go through where people fall down, and I know because I don't come at it from this judgmental place. I know because I've experienced this. You know. And one of them, the first one is just choosing a diet you can't manage. You know, that was part of the whole 6 meals a day thing. It's like, really, are you gonna go to work? And you know, I live in a right to work state, so they don't have to give you a break every 2 hours. You know, you don't. I mean, and then sometimes you don't even want to take a break. You know, it's just like, oh, I got a project I got to finish. Wait, I got to take a break so that I can go eat my, you know, 4 ounces of chicken and a cup of broccoli.
What a joke. You know how many people in my industry put people on that ridiculous nonsense protocol of eat every 2 or 3 hours, portion size, and you know, all this stuff. And really all they're doing is spiking insulin like a roller coaster for people 5-6 times a day. Here's the deal. Okay. My philosophy, the way I think about it is, you need to be able to one night lay your head down on the pillow and completely forget that you were on a diet that day.
Mm.
That's the goal for me. That has happened. That is the way I've gotten myself to that place. And my goal is to bring as many other people as possible to that place where that's when you know you've made it a lifestyle. You put your head on the pillow. You totally don't even think about the fact that you were on a diet that day. It was so easy. You just went about, you focused on more important things than just being super strict and rigid on your diet. And that's when you know you're successful. If that happens, there's no stopping you.
Yeah, yeah. And then part of a big part of that there is making your meals, the meals that you do have, making them enjoyable.
Absolutely.
You know, don't, I tell this to my clients all the time, like if you continually think about what you're losing out on, oh, I can't have this or I can't have that, that's going to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to
most
fail.
definitely.
You have to keep in mind, oh, what I'm getting out of this. And part of that is to make this whole experience fun.
Yeah, and that's the good part about the ketogenic diet is you are in a situation of abundance. You are not going without. If I give you eggs and bacon in the morning, why are you're not bitching?
Yeah, right,
You know,
exactly.
like you're not starving.
You're not starving, and you're
Yeah.
not missing out on anything. It's all good.
And that's what I tell people a lot of times too when they first start off on the diet. I just tell them, do not focus on what you cannot have. Meaning, don't go wake up in the morning and think, oh my gosh, I got to avoid carbs. Oh, there's carbs, got to run. Oh, there's carbs. Oh, can't look over there. And instead focus on waking up in the morning and saying, I got to find the fat. Where is the fat? And just start focusing on the things that you can have. Because if you don't, most people will fail because they're not getting enough fat. So they do really good at keeping the carbs down, but the fat is so low still that their body's like, yo, what are we running on here? Like, what's the deal?
I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry.
Like what's going on? You got to embrace the fat. You got to embrace what you can have. So I think you bring up a great point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So a technical question for you, then,
Sure.
as I'm just kind of re-evaluating what's been said. You said that, you started with a low-carb diet. I did too. What did you think was the failure specifically of a low-carb diet compared to a ketogenic diet? Like what was breaking down, and saying, I lost energy, So explain that for our audience.
Your body wants to either burn carbs or fat, and if it doesn't get both, if it doesn't get either, it's going to start breaking down protein for energy, which is ruthless. And so you cut the carbs, you're sapping, you're taking away your energy source. If you don't plug that thing back into fat, your body all of a sudden will start converting protein into sugar, to glucose, and it's a ruthless process on your body, and you won't last long. So for keto, it's just such a logical thing. You take out the carbs and you say to your body, we're switching metabolisms. It's a clear difference. We ain't running on carbs anymore. We are running on fat. Instead of taking the carbs away and the body says, yo, well, what do we do now? Like, now you're going to make us work twice as hard to convert protein into glucose. Like, that's not going to last long.
Right.
And that's what I essentially did. And people in my industry do that, like I said before, which is why after that last click of the camera from the photo shoot's over, they're running back to their carbs. And they all increase the protein thinking, I'm going to cut carbs to lose weight and I'm going to increase my protein to save muscle, when in fact, that is not true.
Right.
If you want to lose weight and continue to build and preserve lean muscle, keto is everything. Keto is the way to go. The muscle sparing, protein sparing effects, the increased leucine levels in your bloodstream. Man, I wish I would have known this at the beginning of my career. Just talking about it right now is like, gosh, I wasted so much time. I was miserable. I mean, when I tell you that like I did a low carb life existence, I'm talking I was low carb for like 3 straight years.
Wow.
Yeah, because of the insane pressure of being in my situation where, you have a large following, everybody judges on appearance, you've got competitions, your sponsors, your paycheck comes from how you look and how often you are ready. Opportunities, you cannot afford to pass up on opportunities in my industry. So when somebody calls and says, let's do the front cover of Iron Man magazine, we got to shoot next week, you're either there or you're not. And so that's why I know for a fact, and I was miserable, man. I was absolutely miserable
Mm.
until I found keto, and then it was like, holy cow. So I don't know if
So
that
let me
answers.
ask
It's
you
a long
this.
way of
Yeah,
answering your
no,
question, but
totally answers it. Totally answers it. So let
good.
me ask you this question too. Do you think that the amount of fat you eat kind of like I know that you lose a lot of weight on keto. I lost a lot of weight on keto, combined with intermittent fasting.
Yep.
But at some point, I've just heard this thrown out there, so I'm just going to throw this out there for you
Yeah.
to answer as well. And that is like, okay, look, maybe you might be eating too much fat because, yeah, you're going to burn fat. You become a fat burner, but you're
Yeah.
burning the fat you're eating and not the fat on your body.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
at some point, do you have to dial back the fat? In your opinion, or
No.
how do you feel about that?
I did a 21-day, 4,000 calorie challenge. I ate 400 grams of fat every single day for 21 straight days. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Wow.
For anybody who wants to go watch it on YouTube,
Okay.
I did a ketogenic diet. I only weigh 150 pounds, okay? And I took in 4,000 calories every single day. I vlogged every single thing that went into my mouth for 21 straight days. The vlogging every day almost killed me, but the diet did not. And I took in on average about 400 grams of fat for all 21 straight days. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I did not gain weight. Here's my opinion why. Because when I first started out on that little crazy epic journey, my goal was to follow the 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% protocol, which seems to be the pretty standard a ratio for the ketogenic diet. Well, the problem with that is 20% of 4,000 calories is 200 grams of protein. Now, I weigh 150 pounds.
Right.
200 grams of protein would have been a big problem because, like we said before, protein spikes insulin. And it just so happened naturally that I was so concerned with getting enough fat because 9 calories per gram of fat. It was like the easiest. I was literally drinking oil, making, I would not have been able to do it without macadamia nuts. Shout out to my sponsor, EAS Myoplex. Their ketogenic diet shakes helped me get it in as well. But the point is, I was so focused on getting the calories from fat that my protein was always around 10% every single day for the entire challenge. Which in my opinion is why I did not gain weight. Had I put it at 20%, 200 grams, guarantee I would have gained weight.
I
don't really, it's hard for me to say, yeah, just lower your fat intake and you're going to be able to lose more weight when I tripled mine and lost weight. It all goes back to insulin. Like I said, every time for me in my mind, you can throw all the science and research out you want. It always goes back to insulin for me in my mind, and protein and carbs are the things to keep down if you want to continue losing weight.
Yeah. It goes back to insulin for me too. I had this little joke that I did one time where I think I can't remember if it was on a podcast or a video or something like that. And it's crazy because we always find these new hormones that regulate weight loss. And it's true.
Yeah.
They help, but it always seems to be like the same way you regulate insulin. So they did this. They're like, oh, we found this new thing called leptin, back in the 2004 or something like that. And this regulates weight loss. And you say, oh, well, what do you got to do? Oh, you got to lower your carbs. You got to lower your protein. You got to, it's like the same thing. It's like, well, isn't that what we're doing already?
Yeah, exactly.
If you focus in on the insulin,
yeah,
and what it takes to actually lower your insulin, all the other hormones seem to
everybody's again, I wish it was that easy where you're like, oh, so I'll go from 75% of my calories from fat to 65%, and that'll be the trick. And I'll do that every single day. Well, the body doesn't work like that every single day. Everything's different. It's just madness in my opinion. Yeah, so that's my opinion on that.
Okay. All right.
But listen, I get your best question out next because I actually have a consultation with the client that I cannot be late for. And I apologize to everybody. I got this podcast started late because
no problem at all. I was about ready to wrap it up here. I was just going to ask you the question. Let everybody know where they can find you online.
Yes, certainly. So you can go to my website. It's Jason Wittrock at Gmail, or at jasonwittrock.com. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And Wittrock is spelled Wittrock. You can send me an email, jasonwittrock at gmail.com. And you can most definitely follow me on YouTube. That's where I put a lot of my content. Just type in my name, Jason Wittrock, Wittrock. Also on Instagram. So I appreciate everybody listening, and hopefully I've been able to contribute something.
Yes, absolutely. I really appreciate you being here. Stick with me for just a second, just 1 minute. I'm going to close out the show, and I'll talk to you for just a second off the air. Take like a minute if you don't mind.
Take your time, my friend.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on A Mind for Fitness. If you like what you heard, please share this on your favorite social media. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I am trying to follow. I mean, it's kind of crazy because like I get like about 3,000 downloads a month off of the audio, but I don't have that many subscribers to YouTube. So if you want to do me a big personal favor, please go to YouTube and go to A Mind for Fitness and subscribe there. And until we meet again, please keep your mind on fitness.